Hello and welcome back to Wake Up Canada News. I'm Brad Wilder. Today on the show, an interesting story and tale about a school division trustee here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, that was suspended for 90 days without pay and also lost her teaching position. This is something that is tragic, something that shouldn't be happening in this day and age. We're going to break this down with the leader of the Manitoba Party, Mr. Wayne Sturby. We're proud to have him on the show today. Wayne, thank you so much for being here. We're fresh out of that meeting tonight at the Riel School Division Board office. We saw over 60 to 70 like-minded parents who are taking action against the trans movement and the ideology being pushed in our schools upon our children. We saw young and we saw old there. We saw 16-year-olds who stood up and made a conscious effort to say what's happening to their little brother. A conscious effort to say that they've seen this all transition from their school in their schools over the last 3 years. This is an ideology that has some real big issues around it, Wayne. As you know, Unmasking the Trans Movement is another show that we produce here. And some real deviant individuals. And these school board trustees who we saw tonight and went face-to-face with, the smug looks, the condescending attitudes, the condescending words that are coming out of their mouth, they need to put some thinking caps on and get educated themselves, and they need to be reminded, obviously, that they are not in charge of our children. They are not in charge of our schools. We are. We're the parents. We're the taxpayer. We pay their salary, and enough is enough already. If you don't want to listen to the parents anymore, well, guess what? You're going to have to from here forward. We're not going to let this go. We're not going to stop. This is coming full force, and you better get prepared because there's no way you're going to get around this. With the doctors that I have associated, Wayne, to Unmasking the Trans Movement and here to Wake Up Canada News, these are professionals from the excellent Dr. Michelle Cretella, who was former head of pediatrics in the United States of America, to John Euler, who is another individual who is again part of the Unmasking the Trans Movement effort, and he is a trauma therapist, deals a lot with individuals that are in jail, incarcerated by sex crimes that they've committed, deviant pedophiles, deviant groomers, deviant individuals all the way around, and he has more than enough experience to be able to call those individuals out and also provide the treatment that they need to get help. That's one of the things that wasn't talked about enough tonight at the meeting, I believe, which was the mental health side of things. And Wayne, when you got into the room tonight and you saw all those people standing up for that school board trustee who's been released for 90 days and without pay and fired from the University of Manitoba position, you came to the table tonight and you got the chance to say a few words as well. Let's talk about really what your take is first on what went down tonight, and I guess how you as the Manitoba Party leader, has the opportunity and the platform to maybe, take matters into your hands where, from a politician's standpoint, it might make a little more difference with these individuals who are school board superintendents and trustees, for example. Thanks for being on the show, Wayne.
Brad, good to be with you this evening. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And by the way, thank you for telling me about this school board meeting. I decided that it was very important that I attend just so that I could see for myself. Whenever I'm speaking, I never like to speak third-handedly. I don't want to be fact-checked and then find out that I misspoke. So I always like to be there in person and see and hear for myself. One of the first impressions that I had tonight, Brad, was seeing how many good people showed up. It was nice to see that Francine Champagne is not alone in this battle. and a lot of other people who are going through similar circumstances. A lot of people, whether it was the COVID issue or whether it's now the transgender issue in school, the whole idea of Pride Month, the month of June, and people just, speaking their minds about that, and they're being disciplined or they're being harassed or being bullied. It's just nice to know that fellow Canadians are willing to stand up and stand with those people and say, we support you. You're not alone. It's kind of nice to know that somebody's got your back. So that was maybe my first takeaway tonight, was just to see the good support that Francine had. Second takeaway was, the school board members, they made a big presentation, first of all, about what they've accomplished or what they think they've accomplished, and what they hope to accomplish. And one of the, I think it was the superintendent, he spent a lot of time going through 4 different points, talking points, on the Louis Riel school division. And when he came to the 4th point, he spent a lot of time talking about diversity. And, I was a government employee for 12 years myself, Brad, and we were regularly reminded that diversity is our strength, and we value diversity. This has become a moniker that has spread all over the place. I have to speak honestly, and I'll say that when I saw the CFL adopting that particular thing and putting that phrase on the jerseys and I don't know if it was on the players' helmets, but when you would watch a CFL game live, you would often see the banners, the flags, the T-shirts, and they were saying diversity is our strength. Well, we should stop and just examine that statement for a moment. Diversity is it's just a word. It's a word of description. The same way blue and green is a word of description. Big is a word of description. When I think about strength, I think about courage. I think about wisdom. Wisdom is our strength. Competency is our strength. Honesty is our strength. Diversity is just a word that it's really even hard to know exactly what that word means anymore. It's just thrown around, and nobody ever defines it. But I can assure you that diversity by itself isn't a strength to anybody. It's just a word that describes something. Am I against diversity? Not at all. The Manitoba Party supports diversity. We like the fact that in our country, we have, we're a very diverse nation. We have people from all over the world, and they bring with them things that are just, lovely and wonderful to behold. We like the music, we like the costumes, we like the food that they bring. I mean, we love that.
I think every city in Canada needs a folklorama within their own cities, and that needs to be exposed in that kind of a way. Look, diversity isn't the issue here. The alphabet gang has changed the definition of diversity. They have not.
Here, Brad, this is the point that I guess I was spending too much time coming to it, but the whole premise is a lie. If diversity is our strength, then why aren't you allowing for diversity? Why is Francine Champagne being disciplined because she has an opinion or an expression, or she uses her social media page just to talk about her faith? She's sharing her faith. She's saying, this is how I feel about this. Where's the diversity in allowing that?
They're all about inclusion. They're all about family friendly. They're all about diversity. Yet here they are blocking an individual for bringing another side to the table, and they just don't want it at their table. And it's very, very obvious that this fight is far from over.
Oh yeah, number one, practice what you preach. If you really believe that, then put it into practice. The second thing is that when I had a chance to speak to the members of the school board, I let them know, my name and that I'm the leader of the Manitoba Party. I let them know that I'm a former government employee, that I'm very familiar with code of conduct and oath of office, and I express that. The code of conduct is so ambiguously written, and it's so arbitrary and so subject to to somebody's opinion. So if they decide that what somebody says or somebody posts, or the way that you look, the particular way that you look at somebody, that you're being transphobic or homophobic or you're being racist, that's a symbol of white supremacy. That code of conduct is is ridiculous, and it allows people in authority to really abuse that authority and to harass people. And I said to them, why can't we have a code of conduct that is, or an oath of office that is similar to what we see in the States? Every congressperson, the president, every person in the military, every police officer, anybody who serves the nation takes an oath of office to serve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Our oath of office is ridiculous. What we should be doing is requiring every person who works for the government, every person who volunteers, if you want to volunteer your services on behalf of the people of the country or the people of the province, then for goodness sakes, take an oath to defend our Constitution and the Charter of Rights and Freedoms.
And the Bill of Rights. And the Bill of Rights.
Absolutely, the Bill of Rights. I had a great conversation with an older gentleman who was there, and we were both talking about our experience meeting John Diefenbaker. I had a chance when I was younger to see him in person 3 times. I love that man. And there's an example of a true statesman, not a politician, but a true statesman, somebody who looked at the best interests of Canada and said, we don't have this and we need this. And Brad, I think I've gained a new respect for the Bill of Rights. We uphold on our website, the Manitoba Party website, we uphold the Bill of Rights and we uphold the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Both of these things were meant to give security to the citizens of this country, to people who live here. If you're an immigrant and you're not a citizen, that's fine. Our Constitution and Charter of Rights protects you too. We're glad that you're here. We want you to contribute to our country, and we wish you all the best. This is a great country. We're glad you're here. So, it's not a matter of valuing diversity. We respect it. We understand that diversity is a good thing. It helps to build us.
Yeah, look,
anyway,
this isn't this
that ground already, Brad.
So listen, this isn't never about, they're trying to make it about race. They're trying to make it about skin color. They're trying to make it about religion. They're trying to take the family core values and disrupt them within our own houses and at our schools with our kids. It's tragic to think of what's going on within our country right now. We saw a lot of people there tonight. They all got the chance to stand up. Who do you think was the most poignant out of the group that you watched? Was it the 16-year-old girl who talked about her brother?
Oh, Brad, it was such a privilege to be there and hear this 16-year-old girl speak so articulately and so passionately and so courageously. I mean, she made such incredible points. If it had been a toss-up between my speaking or her speaking, I would have gladly given the floor to her, because I really do think that she brought the message home to that school board. She let them know in no uncertain terms that what they were doing was wrong, and what they did to Francine was wrong. And and it's based upon this horrible ideology. What they want to do is they want to turn our kids, our children, into an engineering project. And if you were to ask a school board member, a trustee, if you were able to ask them a candid question and have them answer very candidly, why are you doing this? Do you think this is right? They would probably tell you, oh yes, we're following studies, proven methods.
Oh, it's science, right?
Which ultimately means we're following the science. And one of the things that they're destroying, Brad, that you just talked about that a few minutes ago, they are destroying the meaning of words, and they're destroying language.
That's right.
So first of all, science. The word science comes from the Latin word scientia, which means to know something. When I was going to school and we talked about science, we always understood that this was our opportunity to learn something so that we could know something. But now they've replaced the word science. Now they're not going to tell you they've replaced it, but they've replaced it with a Greek word, techne, which means to make. And what they want to do now is they want to make our children something. They want to turn them into something else. Feelings are more important than facts. It's not what do you know, It's, how are you feeling? And you know, the reason for that is that when you talk about feelings, see, facts are hard to deal with. Facts are hard to ignore. Facts are hard to argue against. But feelings, and especially with a child from, age of 5 years old and up, and even when they're in high school, they're still children. They're still impressionable.
100%.
And when feelings matter over facts, it allows the teachers, it allows the school boards, it allows them to manipulate so that they can make them into what they want them to be. Turn them, totally ignoring what the word science means. And Brad, I'll very quickly turn it back to you. But I was watching a very short YouTube video, Dr. Miriam Grossman, and she was rebutting another person who was giving testimony on Congress Oversight Committee. And this Dr. McNamara, she was a very young doctor, and holding to the entire transgender agenda, believing that this was the best, gender affirming care was the best way to treat children who are struggling with what's that issue? The dysphoria?
Yeah, gender dysphoria.
Gender dysphoria. Thank you very much for that. And like Dr. Grossman says, and she's saying, I want to challenge what Dr. McNamara said, that sex is assigned at birth. And she says, no, sex is not assigned at birth. Sex is determined at conception. And before a person is born, they already know what the sex of that baby is going to be. So, no, sex isn't assigned. It's determined. It's entrenched.
It's in God's hands.
Yeah. And if they can't change the meaning of a word successfully, they'll invent a new one.
Absolutely, they do. Regularly. It's something we talk about on Unmasking the Trans Movement on a regular basis. One of our experts, Alvin Louie, goes into it. He's actually a magician, and he's also a hypnotist. And he took offense to this trans movement, and knowing full well that there's a mental health issue behind all of this, and it's evil. But he broke down the language, and he broke down how they've manipulated the words, the definitions. They've changed the dictionary. And to have a rational conversation with one of those people who is using their own dictionary and their own verbiage and language, in a sense, with their own definitions, is tough when when they're challenging us or we're challenging them back, because we're thinking we're talking the same thing, but their definition is so skewed now that it leaves us not able to communicate with them, because they think we're just a bunch of bigots, we're racist, we're hateful, we're whatever. And it's not because we are, it's because we ultimately don't have a clue what that definition is that they're using in their own mind. And they've changed it. So how do you have a conversation with somebody if I say the sky is blue and you tell me the sky is green? Are we going to be able to talk about that?
Yeah, or maybe they say, well, that's in your opinion, because they don't want to admit that there's such a thing as absolute truth. And when it comes to language, Brad, they have hijacked parts of speech, parts of grammar. They've hijacked pronouns, and they want to have compelled speech. They want us to recognize that if a girl identifies as a boy, then we're supposed to call her him, and so on.
Right.
But they go and they invent new pronouns. Now, I got to thinking about this. In Canada, we have roughly 40 million people. So what are we going to do? Everybody's going to have their own pronouns? And then after that, what's next? Everyone's going to have their own adjectives? Everyone's going to have their own adverbs? We're just going to ignore the laws of grammar. We're going to ignore the laws of English. And pretty soon, we're going to be speaking like babbling idiots, speaking incoherent gibberish. How does anybody know what anybody is saying? Because truth has vanished. Language rules have vanished. It's just completely ridiculous. And what is so ironic? That this is coming from the field of education.
That's right.
These are the people who are supposed to know. The word education means to lead forth. It means you know which way to go. It means that you've taken the time to understand what your role is and what a human being is, and that your job is to help them to grow into what they are, not to make them become something that you want them to be. So no, we're not engineering projects. From what I do know, of looking really, really seriously into education. And I said to the school board tonight that as the leader of the Manitoba Party, education is our number one hot button ticket. This is the thing I am most passionate about.
That's right.
Because this involves children, our future, the next generation, those who are going to be leaders in the business community, leaders in politics, and the thing is that the harm that they're doing to these children. One of the statements that they made tonight before the meeting started was talking about, and it's in their literature too. They talk about making sure that they create a safe space, a safe community. And I thought, you bunch of liars, you bunch of hypocrites. You think that you're creating a safe place? All you have done over the last few years is to engender fear into these kids. You made them afraid of a simple virus that posed no threat to them whatsoever. You took away their school, you took away their friends, you took away their social life, you took away their sports, you took away everything, and you told them nonsense, something that is completely unscientific. Stay home, don't go outside. What doctor in his right mind is going to say something like that? No, it was all about instilling fear into them. And now they want to make these kids fearful of a contrary idea. They want to make them fearful about hearing the truth. They want to make them fearful about listening to a doctor who actually cares about them.
Hey, they're making them fearful of thinking for themselves.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Brad. They take away that the incentive. They take away the motivation to think for themselves. And when they're ready to propose puberty blockers and hormone therapy and mutilation, Brad, when one of their favorite ideas to bring up is that if we don't have gender affirming care, we're going to have lots of suicides. That when a child is encouraged to have functioning body parts removed, healthy body parts removed, that's a form of partial suicide right there. You're taking away part of their life, and you don't have the courage, you don't have the integrity to tell these kids that you're never going to be able to use those things again. You'll never get them back. And all of these hormones and puberty blockers that you're taking, it's going to consign you to a life of dependency on pharmacare. You will never be free. It's going to be expensive, and your life is going to be debilitated. You think that's safe? What hypocrisy! What a lie that is! Safety. You must be kidding.
You're 100% correct. We talk about that on Unmasking the Trans Movement a lot with the expert John Euler, Dr. Ann Gillies out of Ontario, Dr. Michelle Cretella out of the U.S., others from around the world, from Australia that we have on the show, and New Zealand and Ireland and Scotland and the U.K. We've all kind of covered that, and we say exactly what you're saying. The kids are going to be on a lifelong dependency of pharmaceuticals. There's no coming back from some of these surgeries at all. We say on the show that there's going to be, you might not see the suicides today, but the transgender community is a mental health issue before it's ever a sexual issue, or deciding whether you're a boy or a girl or a man or a woman. This is all a mental health situation, and they're taking advantage of the weak, the vulnerable, and just impressionable, the people who can't fight back for themselves. That's what's happening here. Look, the time for offending people is well past. We need to go at this point, we need to go forward and continue to challenge everything that we did tonight. And it doesn't just have to happen in the Louis Riel School Division. It needs to happen all across this province, from the top all the way to the bottom. And it's
right.
Guys like you, Wayne, that are going to helpfully help present that message, get people to understand, and like we always say, do the right thing. That's what Wayne Sturby and the Manitoba Party are all about, doing the right thing for the people of this province of Manitoba.
Well, Brad, thank you for saying that, because that really is the reason that we created the Manitoba Party. We know that government they have really lost their focus. They're clueless. Everything that they're in charge of right now is in chaos, and a lot of people have just become accustomed to this, to the point where they say this is as good as it's going to get. And we say at the Manitoba Party, no, we don't have to settle for this mess. We can do better. Our lives can be improved. We can improve the situation for everybody. We improve education. We improve healthcare. We improve our infrastructure. We improve justice. Whatever topic that somebody wants to investigate, they just need to understand and know that the Manitoba Party has looked at all of these issues, and we have a plan to make everything better. We want to restore hope. And Brad, it's so simple. All you're going to do is just restore some common sense. Let's get back to what everybody knows to be normal. I have no place in my vocabulary for a new normal, because new normal is a contradiction.
That's right.
It's a paradox. If it's a new normal, then it's not normal. No, there's normal, and then there's abnormal, but no new normal. And we're not going to settle for somebody trying to fool us into thinking, well, this is now the new way. So you better get used to it. I have a strong message coming up for the leader of the New Democratic Party when it comes to what we should get used to. That'll come out in one of our webcasts. Maybe that's something you and I will talk about, Brad. We're going to talk about Heather Stephenson, the leader of the Conservative Party, and we're going to talk about the other political parties and what they have done to really make a mess of things in Manitoba. And Manitobans deserve better. I love this province. The Manitoba Party loves the people of this province, and we want to do good for them.
Manitoba needs change.
Yes, Manitoba needs change, and we're going to bring it.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for being on the show tonight. We're almost out of time, but we've covered a lot here this evening. It's been a heck of a ride tonight, going into that school board meeting like we've done, and taking on those individuals in a way that, I hope they have trouble sleeping tonight. I won't be having any trouble sleeping. How about you?
No, I'm going to sleep very fitfully. The only thing that might bother me, Brad, is just knowing that there are people in places of power who can hurt you. But as long as there are a number of us who are willing to stand up and fight against that gives me a lot of confidence going forward. So, I am concerned, but no, I'm going to sleep very, very well tonight, because I know that we did something good for at least one person tonight, and I hope that she's encouraged by what she saw.
I think Francine is gonna watch this and be very proud of every single person that stood up for her tonight and did what went down. One person in that room from a political leadership who stood there tonight and spoke and did the right thing and knows the difference between right and wrong. So Wayne Sturby, thank you so much for doing that on behalf of Canadians, Manitobans, and Francine herself. We couldn't have done it without you.
Well, again, Brad, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure being on your program tonight. Hope you have a very, very good night. I'm just going to look forward to the next time we can do this.
You got it, Wayne. It'll be soon. This is Wake Up Canada News. Thank you all for watching. Till next time, remember you can find us on BitChute. Just go to bitchute.com/Wake Up Canada News. You can also find us on Rumble. And we've got all the information that you need for grandparents who are being confronted by the trans movement within their own house. Go to unmaskingthetransmovement.com. All the resources are there for you. There's letters to go after your MPs and let them know that you're not satisfied with this. There's letters to go after your school board trustees to make them aware that you are aware. All the documentation is there. You make a quick couple of little changes with regards to the school name that's put in there already. Change it to your division, change it to your school, change it to your superintendent or your trustee's name, and you're off to the races. This is something that anybody can do. It's absolutely free, and we hope that you take advantage of everything that we're offering on Unmasking the Trans Movement and here at Wake Up Canada News, plus everything that the Manitoba Party is going to be ready to bring to the table as we get ready for a big political fight down the road. Till next time, I'm Brad Wilder. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.